You're watching Caucasus Now. I'm Orkhan Amashov. There's something uniquely telling about countries such as Azerbaijan and Armenia, which throughout their modern sovereign existence have never known peaceful relations. For such nations, those for whom war or protracted conflict has been the prevailing condition, the absence of peace becomes the norm and peace itself the anomaly. This normalization of hostility carries consequences, not only for the societies in question, but for their neighbors as well, who grow accustomed to the quiet assumption that animosity will persist. Well, now let us translate this into the Caucasian context. For a lasting peace in the South Caucasus to be achieved, one that enables comprehensive regional cooperation, normal and functional relations between Azerbaijan and Armenia must be established. A peace agreement must be signed, followed by the opening of communication links, giving rise to civilized interaction in all its forms. This could in turn pave the way for a trilateral mechanism involving Georgia. In a historic first on the 17th of April, Tbilisi hosted a meeting of deputy foreign ministers from Azerbaijan and Armenia, an event some have described as an embryonic moment of the House of the Caucasus, a potential framework for deep regional integration. What is both intriguing and daunting about the current Azerbaijani-Armenian dynamic is that, in principle, the old order is gone, and yet the new has not quite been born. An interregnum persists. The war is over, but the peace is not yet here. It is within this transitional space that we ask, what do the peoples of Azerbaijan, Armenia and Georgia think of this in-between state? How do they perceive the absence of peace and its prospects? This time, we took to the streets of Yerevan, Baku and Tbilisi too, to explore, amongst other things, how accustomed ordinary people have become to the current state of affairs. Let us listen and try to understand.
Շատ լավ կլինի եթե հարևանություն անենք, ճանապարհները բաց լինի, մարդիկ ավելի մոտ կշփվեն իրար հետ, չգիտեմ։ Լավը իմ գործով դա կլինի, որ հարևանները պետք է իրար շփվեն։ Մենք ուրիշ հարևան չունենք։ Մեր հարևանները Ադրբեջանն, Թուրքիան, Վրաստանն, Իրանը ուրիշ հարևաններ չունենք։ Մենք պետք է շփվենք, որ զարգանանք։ Կարևոր որ սա հանրապետությունները պետք է զարգանան։ Իմ կարծիքով շփումը շատ մեծ նշանակություն ունի, թշնամություն պետք չէ լինի։
I think peace means finally turning the page on decades of conflict and focusing on create a future together. Also, I consider that it's a beautiful chance for young people to travel and connect without fear.
You know, the key problem here is how we will be perceiving each other, whether we will be feeling safe when we're next to each other, when we speak to each other. So I think maybe not our generation, but the next generation will be free of these prejudices and their thoughts. That's why I think a certain work should be done in a cultural sector, in education sector, so we overcome on both sides. And I think more on their side than our side, because I know Azerbaijani people are open to everyone, so we can overcome all these prejudices and be ready to live as a normal neighbors, because basically we're neighbors, and even when you live in your house and you have some problems with your neighbors, it's not good, right? So I'm looking forward that everything will be fine, and we you know, it's kind of weird for me personally when you travel somewhere and when you know that the person is from that country, you kind of feel a bit alert, and I would love to feel free everywhere when I go. So that's why hopefully the future will be bright for everyone.
Շատ վատ է անդրադառնում, շատ վատ է անդրադառնում, մեծ խաղացողներն են ներգրաված, միջին խաղացողներն են ներգրաված, դե ու դուք եւ մենք։ Վատ է անդրադառնում, ոչ մի կերպ, ոչ մի հեռանկար չի տալիս տարածաշրջանին բնականon հանգիստ ընթացք ունենալու։
Առաջին հերթին առևտրական կապերը չեն զարգանում, դրանից բացի թե կանոնադար լարված վիճակի մեջ են լինում ոչ միայն հայերը, նաև ադրբեջանցիները, որովհետև ես թվում է որևէ ադրբեջանցի չի ուզում պատերազմ եւ որևէ հայ չի ուզի։
In my opinion, this agreement that both countries have been looking forward to for almost 5 years is going to bring a lot of investments in this region. As we know, if Zangezur region is opened by Armenia, there will be many trade roads that will link Silk Road, one of the Central Asia, China, through Azerbaijan to Turkey and Europe. And both countries will benefit. Armenia and Azerbaijan both will get profit from custom taxes, at least. Then tourism will also increase. And in my opinion, just the relationship that has long been not friendly between nations will finally start to improve.
Մենք պետք է փոխենք մեր կառավարությանը, որովհետև մեր կառավարությունը դավաճան է, եւ մենք պետք է հզորանանք ռազմական ճանապարհով եւ պետք է ցույց տանք Ադրբեջանին մեր ուժը։ Այն ժամանակ на весь регион, я не знаю, на меня эта ситуация очень плохо действует. Очень плохо.
Էլ ավելի ավատացնում իրավիճակը։ Որովհետև եթե ճիշտ քաղաքականություն չկա, ճիշտ աշխատողներ չկան, այդ հարցում չի կարող լինի էլի լավ բան։
I think it will be amazing if this kind of conflict will be over, but I think it will affect Georgia not in a good way, because most of the traffic of the goods and everything for now was passing through the Georgia because of this conflict, and now it means that we will be no more needed.
Güc birlikdədir. Qafqaz ölkələri, Cənubi Qafqaz ölkələri bir olsa, iqtisadiyyat inkişaf eləyəcək, ticarət inkişaf eləyəcək, get-gəliş olacaq, mədəniyyətlər inteqrasiya edəcək, sonra yollar açılacaq. Demək olar ki, iqtisadiyyatın bütün sahələri çiçəklənəcək. Bu daha çox Ermənistana lazımdır. Onsuz da bizim bütün yollarımız açıqdır. Hətta Naxçıvana artıq bilirsiniz ki, birbaşa quru yol əlaqəsi İran torpağı vasitəsilə bu gün sabahın məsələsidir. Amma tam blokada vəziyyətində olan, hər tərəfli blokada vəziyyətində olan Ermənistan üçün bu hava su kimi lazımdır.
Բայց մենք էլի ուզում ենք բարի դրացիական հարաբերություններ հարևանների հետ։ Չենք ուզում մարդ մանալ, չենք ուզում։ Ես 55 տարեկան եմ, ես տեսել եմ պատերազմի բան, ես օֆիցեր ընտրադրավոր։ Իդից հետո փոխանցվեց իմ տղայի։ Իմ տղան Ռիցարտի կրեստա ստացել, Ղարաբաղում։ Վայնա это плохое вещь։ Շատ վատ բան է, շատ։ Ոչ մի սովորական ադրբեջանցի, ոչ մի սովորական հայ չի ուզում պատերազմ։
I think it could bring more travel, job, and trade opportunities around South Caucasus. Also, this peace could make region more stable, attracting new investments and opening doors for new relationships.
I believe that this conflict has been a big influence on the entire region, and I'm very much glad that there has been a resolution to it very recently. There are, of course, some hurdles in terms of what nations are going through, but in the grand scheme of things, I think this is a good tendency, and that everything is tending towards the resolution, even if we judge it by the ongoing face-to-face, let's say, talks during the international forums lately, we can see that there is an amicable relationship being formed, which will also benefit us and both nations in the long run, because we are a part of in the grand scheme of things, we are part of the overall world. Right, like these sort of conflicts were holding us back, and I think this is a very good stepping stone for Azerbaijan to reach much higher, essential stages in its development.
Peace with our neighbors is very much needed in the current situation, so I think it's very much needed, a peace with Azerbaijan. First of all, no aggressions towards each other like the previous years. Maybe a couple exchanges in, I don't know, economy and stuff like that. In my opinion, a peace with Azerbaijan right now could affect with peace so that our army can get stronger, our economic develop and stuff like that.
I think only positive, because peace is always making a good and positive impact on not only both sides but also in whole region. That's my point of view.
Իհարկե վադա պետք է խաղաղություն անպայման լարվածություն պետք չի ոչ մեկի Հարավային Կովկասում լարվածություն պետք չէ երբևիցե
ზოგადად დესტაბილიზაცია და კონფლიქტი მიუღებელია და ვისურვებდი, რომ კავკასიაში იყოს სტაბილურობა და ყავდეს ძლიერი პარტნიორები და სიმშვიდე. ალბათ მოქალაქის პოზიცია ესეთი იქნება.
Well, on the basis of the responses we have gathered, if the previous episode was fundamentally about the choice between peace and the perpetual continuation of enmity, this episode centers on another question: peace at what cost and on whose terms? Whatever one may say about the virtues of peaceful coexistence, in the current context, it begins with the acceptance of the consequences of war. And this acceptance must be tempered with a vision, an understanding of the benefits that peace may yet bring. Revenge, of course, is a potent poison. It can fill the spirit for some considerable time, but so too can magnanimity. The challenge lies in forging a peace that is not only sustainable, but also dignified, just and fair. One further revelation, if one may say, from these reflections is that not all external actors or even neighboring states may be fully invested in the realization of peace between former adversaries. Self-interest will always play a role, but so too will common sense and the instincts of survival. You've been watching Caucasus Now, and see you very soon indeed.